I was scared of dentists in the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. I like my friend turning green. You're the magician's assistant in their dreams. Oh, when they come unstuck, lady running down to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left arm. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. There's this movie that I think you'll like. This guy decides to quit his job and it's for New York City. This cowboy is running from himself, and she's been living on the higher shelf. Oh, when they come unstuck, lady running down to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left arm. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. Oh, I just gotta know.
I mean, I think that was a funny joke, but I'm glad it didn't go out.
Yeah, that's an off-air
all
joke. Kevin's off-air jokes are even more shocking than his on-air jokes, but those are just for me.
Sponsor.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the happy hour. How are you guys doing tonight? We are doing, well, I mean, there's news that we have to cover, and we're going to try to do it with a smile on our face. Isn't that right, co-host Kevin?
It involved Hitler coming.
Well, but not to the same extent because of his one ball situation.
Because he had one bollock, yeah.
Yes.
Which was definitely true, by the way. That totally wasn't just like a lie that was invented. That was definitely true. He had one testicle.
Did you want to do the song?
Did I want to do a song?
The song.
I'm not singing the Hitler Bull song, no.
Why not? If you're going to do R.E.M. and a little sunshine, kissing the sunshine
like a really quality band of the 20th/21st century. The Hitler Bollock song was a World War II propaganda thing. Like, I mean, I'm not sure it's a fair comparison. I mean, it could be argued one was more important in the long run, but, you know, I'm still not singing it.
At least for morale.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, R.E.M. up to that point had done nothing for the morale of the people during the war. Michael Stipe, you didn't help at all with the war effort, you fucking prick.
He wasn't at Normandy. He wasn't.
He literally wasn't. Tell you who was, lots of Nazis. No, to be fair, they were the problem at Normandy, but they were there.
Also not there, the Kurds.
Exactly, even though technically lots of Kurdish people did actually fight in that war for the Allies. So, I mean, he was even wrong on that.
Just not
necessarily at Normandy, no.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you where Trump really helped in the war. No,
nowhere.
In any of the wars that happened during his lifetime, even though he had a chance to do so. Corporal Bone Spurs fucking reporting for duty and then reporting off.
Yep. But we're going to get to some Trump news later. But we're going to start the show with a little bit of Schadenfreude. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Milo, I guess, desperate for clicks, turning on his alt-right former buddies to get some attention. We're going to listen to that clip, so content warning, there's going to be slurs. I don't know if I think I've got a bleeped out version, but I didn't hear it. Maybe on YouTube it's bleeped out. Anyway, yeah, so Kevin, your reaction, because mine was when I heard it, I'm like, yeah, and this is who he is.
Yeah. But yeah, all I'll say is that whilst me and Kristi couldn't possibly at all justify any kind of violence, because that would be against the YouTube terms of service, just say, in theory, if one were to endorse the punching of Richard Spencer in the face,
a hypothetical, as it were,
idiots, a hypothetical, of course, and then some hypothetical idiots were to defend him and say, no, that's terrible, you shouldn't be punching him, he's not even really a Nazi and stuff. Those hypothetical people will have been proven totally wrong and can shut the fuck up forever.
Yep. Yeah, So should we? So backstory to this is Milo leaked this on his channel. I guess I will start sharing, Kevin, with you now.
Well, is this more desperate than him turning up for the Jacob Wall, Lance Berkman, fucking driveway bumfest of saying that Theodore Cruz was a swinger? Is this more or less desperate than that?
I think less, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it in the sense that at least this is sort of journalistic.
Yeah.
So this is an actual thing that of vague relevance, and it's true.
Yeah.
Like he did actually say this rather than the other thing, which I don't know if I need to say this, but it's a Jacob Wall thing, so it isn't true.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole point. That's why it makes it more desperate. Because he would be, yeah. I mean, it's not as desperate as getting milkshaked and nobody cared. That was peak. Well, more, I guess, irrelevant.
I think that was. Yeah, that's. I mean, if he wasn't such a dreadful person, you would feel sorry for him at that point, because that goes beyond. That's not even pathetic. That doesn't even rise to the level of being utterly pathetic. That's how low that is. He got milkshaked and no one gave the slightest shit. Oh,
right.
Beautiful.
Yes, it was.
But no platforming is terrible and will definitely amplify the message. Oh no, sorry, no one cares about him anymore at all.
Nope. Or Richard Spencer.
Or Richard Spencer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's not doing college campus tours. Yeah, actually, that was brought up by
was pretty dumb.
The author here. CNN had Richard Spencer on air less than 4 months ago. Yeah. So shall we listen to, how would you describe this piece of audio, Kev?
Despicable?
Mm?
Yeah. Pretty despicable. I mean, as you can see, just from the transcript of the first 2 lines, yeah.
Right, and
just,
the context of this was recorded shortly after Heather Heyer was murdered in Charlottesville.
Indeed, so yes.
That's what Milo said was the context of this. For me, I guess, I mean, obviously he's a disgusting racist, so he's saying terrible racist things. But for me, his utter impotence, like his psychological state of impotence, the things that he has to do to try to build himself up, is really, for me, shows how pathetic he is.
Physically. Well, yeah, including beating the shit out of his pregnant wife, or his now pregnant ex-wife.
Right. Well, in this particular thing, he sounds like a raging man who has no power.
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like to me. All right. So I'm going to hit play. Hopefully this won't blow everyone's ears out. I did test the audio, so fingers crossed I got it right. People in the chat can let us know how the audio levels are.
Coming back here like a fucking 100 times. I am so mad. I am so fucking mad at these people. They don't do this to fucking me. We're gonna fucking ritualistically humiliate them.
Just his voice breaks. You don't do this to me? Yeah.
Yeah.
They did do it to you. They booted you out.
Yeah.
I am coming back here every fucking weekend if I have to. Like, this is never over. I win. They fucking lose.
Seriously?
I win. Honest, guys, I totally win.
Yeah. He's gone back every weekend, hasn't he? He's really shown them, those people of Charlottesville.
Yeah. Just like, they all fucking do this, these right-wing grifter types. All of them. When's Carl going to fucking not Doncaster, where was it? Rotherham. He's going to go to Rotherham and do live debates.
Right.
That hasn't happened.
That never happened, no. All right. No. A little request in the chat for it to be a bit louder, so here we go.
Fuck you, chat.
That's how the world fucking works. Little fucking kikes. They get ruled by people like me. Little fucking octoroon.
They get ruled by people like him? No. No. You're pathetic and weak.
No. Yeah, you are nothing. Richard, you are nothing.
Yeah. Without this complex of, like, I'm inherently meant to rule because I'm white. No, dude, that's not how it works.
Well, that's how pathetic they are, yeah. It's literally the only thing he has going for him is his whiteness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Supreme executive power wields from a mandate from the masses, not some farcical white supremacist nonsense.
I didn't vote for him.
All right, here we go.
My ancestors fucking enslaved those pieces of fucking shit.
Yeah, more squeaking voices. He's just so, overwrought, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, the white fragility is amazing, isn't it? Precisely.
It is remarkable. And like I say, do you know now when people were saying like, oh, you shouldn't punch him, that's terrible. Well, clearly I would have to agree with that because YouTube wouldn't like me to not disagree with that. But hypothetically, if I were to agree with that, that would be a thing that would be good.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, of course.
Yeah, okay.
I rule the fucking world!
No, you don't, Richard. No, you don't.
Is this a 7-year-old?
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like he's having a temper tantrum.
You can't make me eat my carrots, Mum. I rule the fucking world.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's only 8 o'clock. I'm not going to bed. I rule the world.
Yes. He has to scream to a bunch of yes people, yes men, no doubt, to show how powerful he is. Oh, he's pathetic. All right, here we go.
Absolutely embarrassing.
It is.
It's
Really,
shit.
really, yeah.
In Minecraft, punch this man every time you see him in Minecraft.
Oh, right. Is that the way you get around it? Because that's what Shu told me on Twitter.
Yeah, it's in Minecraft.
Oh, right.
So it's fine, apparently. Apparently that's how it works.
Okay.
I mean, YouTube might censor us for that, but, I mean, maybe we should do some Holocaust denial. They don't seem to have a fucking problem with that.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Getting ready for more voice-breaking screeching from an impotent, petty man having a temper tantrum.
Those pieces of shit get ruled by people like me. They look up and see a face like mine looking down at them.
The hate.
They'd have to be on the floor for them to be looking up to you. Jesus.
Honestly, even then they might have to find a ditch.
there are some black midgets, so maybe that wouldn't necessarily be the case. But he's not a tall man.
Little persons.
Midgets.
Okay, hashtag not me.
That's French midgets.
Okay, but yeah, this whole
midgets
thing.
are a thing, aren't they? I'm not taking the piss. I'm saying they exist.
I think they prefer
They're
the
human
term.
beings that are small.
Yes, I think they prefer little people. I'm just saying.
Okay, but that suggests there's multiple. I'm talking about an individual one.
Okay, we're going to move on from this conversation right now. We're going to draw the line here and move on, Kevin.
Well, look, I'm a rebel, okay? Don't give me none of your political correctness shit. I'm offensive, don't you know? Oh, did you see fucking Ricky Gervais?
Oh, Ricky Gervais
sucking off fucking
Blair
White.
On her butt.
I cannot believe I used to like that piece of garbage. God damn it.
I know. You know, Blair White is like the transphobe trans spokesperson.
Yeah, she's awful.
Yeah.
And when I say I used to like that person, I meant Ricky Gervais. No, I've never liked Blair White.
No. She was supposed to talk to you one time, didn't she? And she kept running away, like 3 times.
She did. Although we did end up having a chat.
No, because
I called out when I was talking to.
Well, that's just it. She jumped into somebody else's stream rather than actually facing you, because she's a coward.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I thought Blair White was done with politics.
Oh, yeah, but that was like 5 minutes ago, and she's changed her mind. Because she's so consistent.
Right, got it.
She has the consistency of a Guinness and curry shit.
You know, I was just thinking about, Spencer saying, you know, I rule people like this, you know, they look up at me, and I was just thinking about that end scene in Django Unchained.
Oh, right. Oh, well, I was thinking of... oh, no, I won't say that, because that definitely will get this flagged.
Thank you for the doorman that checked that comment before it came out of Kevin's mouth. Give that guy a tip.
All I'll say is
woman.
It was one of the ones that even saying in Minecraft afterwards would not have saved us. So, yeah. It involved Richard Spencer coming to a somewhat sticky end.
Oh, okay, yes.
Oh, no, that sounded sexual. No. It was another film that ends with butchery.
Okay.
Anyway, never mind.
Anyway, with that segue, let's get back to the tape.
That's all way.
How the fucking world works.
What was that?
Never mind. Never mind.
Oh,
Move on.
He was screeching. That's how the fucking world works. No, no, you pathetic little impotent man. All right.
We are gonna destroy this fucking town.
Well, I thought you cared about Western civilization. Why would you do that? That's terrible.
Well, wait, but he got his fifis hurt. So, you know.
True.
That's a national tragedy when a white man gets offended, you know. Like who is that, Mark Meadows, crying because someone called him out for being a racist, and he started crying over it in Congress. I don't have a problem with men crying. I do have a problem with crocodile tears. And then when Trump crapped all over Baltimore and Cummings, Meadows was nowhere to be seen. When I saw Meadows at Cummings' funeral, I was like, "You piece of shit!" Like his wife shook your hand because she's a better person than me, because I would have spit in it. You backstabber.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly.
Sorry,
but by the way, just listening to him screaming, I rule the fucking world and all that sort of stuff.
How pathetic.
Yeah. Is this the same people? Is this the same people that go on about others being snowflakes?
Yeah, these guys.
Oh, okay. Well,
they're so tough.
All I'll say is, I don't care for your moral outrage.
Yeah. Yep. You got all the ignominy and infamy you deserve. You deserve it. Yeah. So.
Infamy. They've all got it in for me.
Yeah. Well, for good reason in his case.
To steal a carry-on line.
All right.
You're
I was wondering because that sounded quite polished. All right, so I figured we need a palate cleanser.
You say my jokes don't sound polished, Dick?
When they end in Dick, they're a little less polished, yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, so here we go.
Cats.
Yep, all the cats are gonna. It's autumn, so it makes sense. All the cats would turn orange and pile up.
I love all the cats. I love all the cats.
And you got like the cat that's a dick that's like walking all over the other cats.
There's always one. There's always one who's a dick. Oh yeah, my cat. For anyone who was wondering, because people were saying about it being bonfire night, fireworks, and all that shit, which you may be able to hear in the background here. I don't know. Yeah, Rory Katz has never really cared about the fireworks. He's absolutely chill, and this is the first fireworks night with Chopsy, and so far he's again chill as fuck. He don't give a shit.
Cool, that's good.
So that's awesome.
All right, so now I have a random mix, and I got some like just popcorn tweets in my feed because I looked at it right before we went on air and ended up grabbing a bunch of stuff that I thought that was funny. So first, there's this one. Just saving this before it's deleted, and it's a reply to Natalie from Lauren Chen. No one, Richard Spencer included, is advocating people to be killed. Well,
yeah. Again, if there are some people who may be hypothetically called Lauren Chen who've defended Nazi scum like Richard Spencer, those people, the old saying was that if you've got a Nazi and 4 friends at a table, you've got 5 Nazis at a table.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So I just thought that was that tweet came up and would be a good segue considering. Also a bit more noning going on. Noning. Wow, it was staring us in the face the whole time. And somebody just changed his Patreon to say Andy No is creating threats to our community and kill us for the Atomwaffen. Known.
Love it. That is known. Although, when saying it like that makes it sound like that "you've been gnomed" thing, which was really fucking annoying. That needed to never happen ever.
Oh, I like known just because it's a play on his name. Oh yeah, and I got this.
No, I'm not saying there's a problem with that. I mean the gnomed thing. Do you remember that thing that went around
for his pronunciation?
No,
I didn't see it then.
It was a meme.
Missed it.
Anyway, someone link us a gnomed thing in the chat or something because it was so annoying.
All right.
Anyway,
this is just like it's like collecting baseball cards in this case, and this is like a prize report to get back. Sorry, this came. right
That's
before we were
two.
done.
That's
Yes!
two honey badgers for the price of one, because it's Alice Tiemann that runs Honey Badger Radio. So
I know.
yeah.
It's like trading cards, because I had a bunch of them from Sargon's account before he got permanently banned until he kept trying to come back on.
Which one? Who knows anymore?
Not Sargon, and maybe Sargon of Akkad too. But yeah, I haven't had this is like winning the lottery. And also, this was months ago. What report? I was like, it came up in my, notifications feed, and I looked at it. I was like, this must have been from like September. This was ages ago. But anyway, again.
Yeah, but Karen hasn't stopped since then.
Oh, no, she's still
probably
complaining.
still replying to that undoubtedly.
Yes, undoubtedly, telling me about how she never gets caught for her being a bitch on Twitter because she follows the rules. Maybe not.
Not so much.
Not so much. Nope. Right. Okay. So then I've got some serious news here. We have some of the transcripts. This is actually from yesterday. So should we talk about Trump now, or should I try to find Jacob Rees-Mogg? I guess we're here, but.
Yeah, just do whatever's in front of you.
Okay, so another news, I don't want to say bomb because there's been so much violence lately, but just, I don't know, Big Bang? Just seems like every day.
Yeah.
The House Democrats very tactically released transcripts, but they're not releasing them in chronological order. They're releasing them to basically, the way I see what they're doing is, they want to paint up, they basically put all the pieces for a jigsaw puzzle out there for the media to put together for the public. And so they're kind of presenting their narrative through these transcripts and how they're choosing to release them in what order. And the first ones they put out were from Marie Yovanovitch and a guy who just resigned from, I'm getting them mixed up.
Dave.
Yeah, from a guy named Dave. And in her testimony, it's all about how Trump was, how things were working around her with Giuliani and Trump and this shadow foreign policy with the shakedown around her to get her booted out. And then the other guy testified to the fact that he approached
Dave. Dave. He's got a name.
Dave approached Mike Pompeo 3 times before he resigned from his post
That's so Dave.
Yeah, isn't it though? to complain about the treatment of.
I really added something of substance to this piece, really, haven't I? I think.
But
definitely.
It is funny. Your timing is impeccable. That's what she said. All right. That he had actually told Pompeo 3 times.
2 minutes in heaven is better than 1 minute in heaven. So
that's why they call him business socks. And Mike Pompeo is on the ABC news show with George Stephanopoulos. I think that's the right letters. Last couple weeks ago, saying that he had never been approached. So this guy testified under oath that he told Mike Pompeo 3 times, "You're not looking out for employees." Mike Pompeo, a known liar, said on national television he was never approached. So, but basically, what you get is the sort of like machinations, and the main character in their first one is Marie Yovanovitch, and then the other testimony should start to kind of fill in the basic outline that they've put out there. So yeah, it'll be really exciting in the next couple of days to see the actual testimony, because the other thing that's hilarious about it, if you want to consider it from a cynical point of view, is to read the transcripts, to watch the complete temper tantrums the Republicans are having in the committee hearings. They are embarrassing. So that's all on permanently in ink and out there for the world to see how they just treated it all like a farce instead of taking it seriously. So, that's another. We can talk about the whistleblower too. Did you see what Rand Paul did at the rally?
No, but it's probably dumb because it's Rand Paul.
Well, apparently, the name of the whistleblower, or a name that is claimed to be the whistleblower, is circulating on the Chan boards because,
Dave.
Of course, Dave. Dave gets around.
It's the ultimate double cross. It was Dave the whole time. Oh, man's a genius.
But, and Sean Hannity has even mentioned that he has the name of this whistleblower in cross-reference, sort of threatening to bring it out. And I think they're basically trying to get enough people on the sort of sub-internet to say it enough that it filters out naturally, rather than, because they're all scared to report it, because they have federal whistleblower
Yeah, because
protections
it's legal.
for a reason to protect people from this kind of crap. But Rand Paul at a rally in Kentucky that Trump went to basically say a vote for Mark Bevin is a vote for me not being impeached or the impeachment being false because he's a narcissist who makes everything about himself. But Rand Paul, when he was warming up the crowd or talking to it, basically said he called on the media to publish their name. And,
that doesn't surprise me.
Yep. So it's just ridiculous. We talk about fascist tactics. These are them. And
talking, indeed, absolutely, it fucking is. But talking about him making everything about himself, did you see the Washington Nationals, the baseball championess, went to the White House, as is typical. Many stayed away because, it's Trump. He even had to make that about himself.
Of course.
He couldn't just congratulate the team. He had to go on about impeachment at the speech he was giving to congratulate the fucking Major League Baseball champions. The fuck is wrong with you, man?
I really don't the fact that 46%, 43 to 47% of the country just will not see any fault in him is terrifying to me. Utterly terrifying.
Well, that's why you need a massive overhaul of the American education system.
Clearly, but not with white supremacists in charge.
They run the world. People look up to them.
Oh, speaking of which, this is actually an important thing to note I'm not trying to excuse all white people, but it is something that is empirically verifiable. If you break down the crosstabs in polling on support for different candidates, that white, non-college educated voters who are not evangelical Christians support the Democrats against Trump. Not 100%, but as a majority. Evangelical, non-college white overwhelmingly support Trump. White evangelical Christians are Trump's only solid base. So this is a fundamentalist thing. This is a reactionary, theocratic base that is following King David despite his sins because he's implementing God's plan and he's God's instrument. These people are terrifying.
Yeah, although, you're having a go at white people. I can't help but feel Dickie Brain was right about you.
They're American white people, so I can criticize myself.
The original gangster of anti-white racism.
That was me, yes. By noticing people are white, I'm being racist.
You are incredibly racist. In fact, you might even say you're a racialist.
Yes, racialist. Is that a callback to The Office? Or is that Alan Partridge? Or was it both?
I can't remember. It's a thing. Yeah. I don't know.
All right, today's releases included, I think, the transcripts from Sunland. And in there, I actually heard somebody read it out, where they said, did you understand that the Ukrainians wouldn't get the meeting with the White House unless they played ball? He said, well, I don't know, I didn't hear that phrase used, but if you mean that conditions had to be met for the meeting to happen, yes, that was my understanding.
Which, forgive me, but that sounds exactly like a quid pro quo to me.
Oh, because
this is from the guy that gave Donald Trump $1 million. So it's not exactly like a never Trumper. Jesus, is there anyone who won't call a never Trumper?
No. Either you're with him or you're evil.
You can tell the kind of scumbaggery that exists in the circle of Trump because everyone, they act like they're the best friends ever and they're so tight and awesome until they leave each other and then they turn into, he's a piece of fucking shit. I saw the Mooch, Steve Scaramucci. Scaramouche, will you do the Fandango? Being interviewed on Anderson Cooper. And he was talking as if Donald Trump was the most evil piece of shit he'd ever known and blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, why did you work for him then? And it was the same with Michael Cohen. You people are fucking slime. All of you. Oh, God damn it. It's awful. The quality of human being involved in the Trump organizations is garbage.
And some straight guys want to criticize women for their taste in men. Look at these guys. It's like a revolving door of chumps. And they all end up in prison. Yeah. Manafort, Michael Flynn, Roger Stone's on trial, Michael Cohen.
Oh, Stone. I can't wait for the Stone trial. Oh,
It started
is
jury
it tomorrow
selection.
It starts or something?
No, today jury selection started.
Oh, jury
but
selection. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was excused from staying at the trial for jury selection because he claimed he had food poisoning. I saw that earlier today.
I hope he. Oh, actually, whoa! I pulled that sentence back. I nearly said, let's try and paraphrase this in a way that isn't illegal, or not isn't necessarily illegal, but immoral. I was going to say that the final product of extreme food poisoning, what that would be.
Death.
Yeah.
Well,
I nearly said I hope that happens to Roger Stone.
I was just gonna try to picture him on the toilet having a really bad case of the
I
squirts.
hope he shits out his entire bowels. I hope he shits out his kidneys and his fucking lungs.
Great.
Your channel. It's
Thanks.
your channel getting taken down.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, yeah. I hope he shits out his Minecraft lungs.
The Happy Hour is a comedy
think.
show meant
That's
for
how it
entertainment. Nothing in this show is meant to represent necessarily the views of Dr. Kristi Winters.
The views of the management.
Yes. With their moose that bite you. Right, so that, he kind of confirmed there was a quid pro quo, his understanding of it. So, and you were saying about how Trump stamps people in the back. That reminds me, you know who agreed to testify for Congress?
Testify!
Lev!
Lev
from
Parnas, yeah. One of the fucking weird alien-looking bastards from Ukraine. Yeah.
The one who we think is distantly related to Charlie Kirk.
Almost certainly, yeah. The
facial resemblance is
facial
uncanny.
Features to facial area.
It's like Charlie Kirk in 30 years.
A lot.
Yeah, it's like I'm seeing future Charlie Kirk.
Basically, yeah, it's like looking into the aging app for Charlie Kirk, and that's Lev Parnas is him in 30 years thing.
All right, Kevin. Well, I think it's time for you to have a bit of a go here. So, let's switch it up and go to your side of the pond. You might want to read this out, actually, if you can.
Hang on, which bit?
Sorry, the tweet here from Irvine. Do you want me to make it a little bit bigger? And that's what she said.
No, that's what she said. No, I'm fine. I can see it. It says, "Fuck him." Oh, hang on.
Sorry. Yep.
But it doesn't matter. Leave it now. Jesus. Oh no, you've clicked it. Oh, for fuck! Stop clicking things. Right. It says, "Fuck him. This is a cunt who wrenches his children from their nanny once in a blue moon to use them as human shields so he can play the victim in the media. This prick's profundities mean jack shit." Yes, this is Jacob Rees-Mogg, the current leader of the House of Commons, which is a slightly pointless thing, but anyway, he's a member of the government. And he said that the Grenfell Tower, which, for those who don't know, in 2017, there was a fire in a housing block which killed 72 people. And it was largely down to the fact that the council, in order to save a few pence, had cladded the outside of the building to make it look nicer so that rich people's houses didn't get become slightly less valuable in what was the cladding equivalent of kindling. So it literally went up like a bale of fucking hay rather than being
They didn't pay for
contained.
the fireproof type of
Indeed, because that would have cost like £20,000 more or something. So dozens of people burned to death or of smoke inhalation. And the report for that was just released, and the government were really sad, honest guys. Yeah, they tried to do that whole fucking crocodile tears shtick. And Jacob Rees-Mogg on the radio yesterday said that they should have used common sense and gotten out of the building. Now, two main problems with that, Jacob. Well, actually, there are several on a moral level, but two main practical problems, first and foremost. Firstly, they had what was called a stay put policy, where, in theory, if they hadn't had that cladding on the outside of the building, they had airtight doors between the levels, so they asked families to stay in their houses rather than opening those doors and allowing the fire to spread. But the problem was the fire was spreading on the outside of the building because of the cladding anyway. So, but the stay put policy was there, so they were literally informed by the fire brigade to stay put. And in theory, that would have worked in the same way that, in theory, the compartmentalisation of the front of the Titanic should have worked.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, and secondly, lots of people did try to get out. They found mothers and children clutched together in the stairwells of the building They tried to escape and died because of smoke inhalation. So they did try and use common sense, and they still died because of cunts like you, Jacob Rees-Mogg, and your deregulation of building requirements.
Yep. So, just awful. What a human piece of shit.
To quote verbatim the great Stormzy, this guy is an actual piece of shit.
Yeah, on likes.
Yeah, that's literally how he described him today. So yeah, bear that in mind when going to the polls, and of course bear in mind the last time I showed you the article of the woman saying that the people on Benefit Street needed to be put down.
Yes.
She's going to remain the candidate.
Great, because Tories.
Because Tories, yeah, who cares? They don't give a fuck about poor people.
All right.
Yeah, they're garbage. If you vote for the Tories, you are my enemy. I'm sorry, you just are at this point.
Well, considering I have a similar view about threats to the constitutional order and rule of law in the United States with the slavish, cult-like mentality of Trump devotees, I'm not going to really call you out too much on that. Yeah. So, this is a thing I thought was kind of interesting. 52% of Americans say churches and religious organizations are having a positive effect on the way things are going in this country, down from 59% 2 years ago. Unsurprisingly, there is a large partisan divide on this. So one, trying to find it. Churches and religious organizations, yeah, you've got Dems down at like 38 and the Republicans at 68. So, and of course, always people who are, the total, that's the mean, not the independents. So just for me, because I'm interested in secularism and stuff.
Also, look, it says Dem and lean Dem. Why are they differentiating between those that are high and not? That seems unnecessary.
What? High? Lean Dem? I don't get it.
Lean. Oh, is that not a phrase?
Oh, but a lean. Oh, that's like when you drink lean.
Yeah. No, when you smoke weed, it's
syrup and lean.
Being lean.
No, I'm talking about syrup and lean.
Shut up with your American. No, you're so American. What the fuck, man? No, never mind. It doesn't matter. There were some British people that laughed at that, but that's about it.
Well, some people are laughing at me talking about syrup and lean, which they should.
Well, when you've lived here, so I thought you would get that phrase. And
that one I didn't. Trolleyed, snookered.
Trolleyed. Absolutely off your fucking chops.
Lots of things for being drunk, but munted, I guess, is the word I associate with being high in British slang.
Munted.
Yeah.
Munted. Absolutely fucking munted.
Yeah, that's a good word. So
that is a solid word.
But thanks for the colloquialism lesson. Lean. I'll remember that.
Lean.
This
Indeed.
is awful. Sorry, everyone. This guy is a burn victim, so I already put him on the screen. This is horrific. This is from my home state. A Milwaukee man was left with second-degree burns after someone threw battery acid in his face, accusing him of being in the country illegally. He's a U.S. citizen.
Oh, wow.
This is Trump's America. This is what white supremacy does. And that's it. He is a victim of our racist white supremacist system and president and his followers.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to him.
Absolutely, yeah. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
But nowhere near as serious in terms of the immediate physical impact, but did you see the story from Chicago, a black family in the Buffalo Wild Wings?
No.
Oh. Well, this was a fascinating one. Black family went into Buffalo Wild Wings, which is like a sports bar type place that serves food, like one of those type dealios. And there was clearly some racialists not only in there but work there, because the black family were asked to move because there were people in the restaurant that didn't want black people eating near them.
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly. Buffalo Wild Wings, unsurprisingly, have said that this was not their policy and that the employees involved have been removed and all the rest of it. There is an ongoing lawsuit against them on the basis of this. Yeah, and it was really interesting to hear the guy, because they're like the actual dad of the family, because there was like a family and then some kids and stuff anyway. And some of the kids' friends, I think it was like a birthday thing. They were going out for meal or whatever, and he had to sit down and have a word with them about race to like a bunch of 7 and 8 year olds because they were trying to explain why they had to like. Essentially, they got up and left and went to somewhere else because obviously they weren't welcome there, right?
Clearly.
And obviously, why would they give them their custom after that treatment? And that was really, really touching and like sad that would have to happen, like to have to ruin those kids' innocence in that way. But I mean, it has to happen, I suppose. What else can you do? But yeah, and not just that, but it struck me like racists exist, and that's always going to be the case for the foreseeable future, right? Until humanity becomes something ultimately that isn't humanity anymore; it's some other species or whatever. And that's like that. I don't really. It's not that I don't care, because obviously it has ramifications. But if they keep it to themselves, whatever, that's their business. If you don't want to eat any black people, that's on you. But you have to get up and move.
Yeah.
You got
your racist ass.
The fucking brass neck on a fucking piece of shit.
To complain to the staff.
Say, I don't like eating near black people. Can you get those black people to move rather than you moving?
Yeah.
And not just that, but the fucking manager of the place that went, I don't know if they knew them or whatever, but not only did they go up and ask the black family to move, but they sat down with the racist white people and were chatting to them. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, you don't have to eat near black people if you don't want to. That's fine, but you can always fuck off.
Yeah.
Look, that's your choice. You either sit there and you have to sit next to whoever happens to come into the restaurant at that time, or you fuck off.
You know, a business operates in the public market space, right? And they are there to serve the public.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
This is why they're getting sued.
The idea that if you want to be racist, that's up to you. But don't expect the world around you to change just because it makes you uncomfortable. You don't like sitting next to black people, don't. But if black people happen to be there, that you don't get to move them along.
Right.
The fuck?
Well, this is what the racist Beckies do with the 911 calls.
Yeah. Oh no, they're grilling meat. In peace and harmony and having a good time. Oh no, I need to ring the fucking police. What? Like I say, the fucking the neck involved. That's a phrase that probably doesn't translate into American. The arrogance, the sheer fucking arrogance of daring to think that you can just make the world revolve around you in that way.
We heard it.
Fuck off.
We heard it at the start of the show. It's the attitude that Richard Spencer was expressing. It's the same attitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
My ancestors owned people like you. Bull. Just completely lacking in any sort of sense of self-dignity. If you have to owning other people is where you get your pride, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, that's horrific.
So, but that happened. Yeah, like I say, less immediately serious than being fucking acid in the face.
No, but it's part and parcel.
It's part of the same. Yeah, it's part of the same.
It's like the Me Too spectrum,
racist nonsense,
right? You have different kinds of sexual harassment and assault and attack, and it's a spectrum. And I know people like Bill Maher want to draw a line and say, "Ooh, this is the serious stuff, and this isn't the unserious stuff." No, it's a spectrum. You have to deal with all of it because it all works together and feeds. So you can't just take.
But he's too busy thinking, oh, maybe vaccines cause autism, even though there's literally no evidence whatsoever to suggest that. But I'm a rationalist, guys. Honest. Let me just give a fucking reach around to Milo live on air again.
Yeah, and have
pretend that he's not a fucking piece of garbage too.
Have Dennis Prager on.
Yeah, because that's rational, skeptic.
They've been demonetized on YouTube for basically being propaganda, and Bill Maher put him on his show.
Because Bill Maher's propaganda at this point for nonsense.
But he's a liberal, Kevin. He's a real liberal. He knows what the Democrats should do.
Yeah, what kind of human being has to go on air and say, trust me, I do believe in the germ theory of disease? What human being has ever had to do that? Oh, Bill Maher, because he's fucking mental.
Yeah.
But like you say, he wants to give advice to people on running political campaigns and stuff. Yeah, maybe sit the fuck down, Bill.
Yeah. Really, sit down. Just sit down and let other people talk.
But not that close to the guy with the fucking needle, obviously, because he's going to try and inject you with the AIDS.
All right. So from Bill Maher, to another spewing of shit. Actually, this is the new line being taken up by Republicans. That it was a quid pro quo.
From blonde-haired cancer.
Yeah.
From blonde-haired cancer to blonde-haired cancer.
Yeah. The new line is, oh yeah, there was a quid pro quo, but it's not impeachable. That's what Lindsey Graham is saying. That's what other Republicans are saying. Yeah, maybe there was a quid pro quo, but when we do that, saying, oh, you shouldn't build settlements in Israel, or we won't give you this money, that's the same thing as asking for an investigation that's going to politically benefit the president's re-election campaign. I'm sorry,
and
what?
Also, they are building fucking settlements, and you are still giving them the money. So literally, even if that is the same, you're not actually doing that.
Well, it's more the fact that one is about national policy and the other one is personally benefiting the president using taxpayer money.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting there is actually but even if they were identical, you're not actually doing it. So no, it's not the fucking same thing at all.
Oh yeah.
And like you say, that's a national agenda. That's a national political agenda. That's not the benefit the president of the United States trying to personally interfere with the election. Well, interfere in an illegitimate way, because obviously him giving a speech is him interfering with the election, obviously, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right, you ready to move on? Because we need some better political advice, right? The whole Democratic Party, which is what's standing between Trump and unbridled fascism, should be burned to the ground in Minecraft. That's where...
Well, anyway, from blonde-haired cancer to blonde-haired cancer to brunette cancer.
And then she tries to sell this. Yeah, let's just destroy the party. I'm sure you are pro-electing people like the Squad into Congress. It's like, they work really well in their districts, but they don't work well in every district. That's why we have diversity in a party. That's why you need a party, because you need sort of common values to hold people together who have a lot of diverse opinions. Oh, it's like talking to a child.
Well, as I said, but scorched earth isn't a strategy.
No.
Burning it to the ground is not a strategy. Well, it's not a strategy that's going to win, unless you've got something much better to replace it with, or even just slightly better, I suppose, or of equal value that to replace it. Then burning it down just means that the people they're opposing are guaranteed to win.
Yeah.
Now, me and Kristi differ on this. We've talked about this in the past. I'm not particularly wedded to the concept of the Democratic Party. If another one came along that was better, fine. But the point being, that has to actually start first. That has to actually be there as an option.
Yeah, I could say the same thing about the Labour Party in Britain.
Standing there being a hipster on the internet saying...
Yeah,
exactly, yeah. The idea that you can be this hipster on the internet just saying, oh, well, I'm above the two-party system, fine, but that doesn't reflect in reality.
Right.
I don't give a fuck for your disdain for the two-party system. Everyone dislikes the two-party system, but it's the system that exists. So you can either sit there and be a fucking hipster twat on the internet getting cool points, calling people names, or you can actually try and work towards something positive, maybe.
Yeah. And the other thing about a two-party system is that it forces the parties to try to cover a lot of ground from the center over to the left and from the center and over to the right. And personally, I want a party of rural America, rural Democrat and urban Democrats and Southern Democrats and people who live in the mountains. I mean, I think we should, as a party, represent the country, and we need to look like the country to do that.
This is where me and Kristi disagree very, very strongly again. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to maybe cause some friction here, but I've said before, rural America needs to be paved over.
There's a lot of good people in rural America.
Most of the South.
But keep all the cooking.
They can be allowed to move north.
Keep all the cooking.
They can be allowed to move to the north and into what I like to call civilization, and the rest of it paved over, big parking lot.
Big yellow sign, put up in parking lot. All right.
Exactly. I mean, Tennessee. Who really needs Tennessee? Parking lot.
What was that Alan Partridge line about maybe Kevin Heaven needed some parking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He said that, maybe they've got a ring and ride systems. Had they actually... did she notice the impact on the outer ring... was it the density of traffic on the outskirts of Heaven at the time? No, she didn't. One-sided.
Alan Partridge is so prescient.
a superb point by an awful person.
Yeah,
It's a superb point which misses the point completely.
exactly. That was
So-
Alan Partridge. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
not
'Cause
always good
there's
points.
practicality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, obviously. But when in the infamous sex scene, when it's completely dark, it's such a brave stylistic choice because it's literally pitch black on screen, and you just hear two people having awkward sex, and he starts
Yeah.
talking about the pedestrianisation of
Norwich
Norwich Town
City
Centre.
Centre. Have to keep the wolf at the door.
Yeah, and every other word is like said in this weird way because he's clearly trying not to come. God, that show was amazing.
I did think of that line when I was in the pedestrian area of Norwich City Centre over the summer.
Yeah, but you'd have to. Yeah, amazing.
They need a historical marker for that somewhere. Location mentioned by character Alan Partridge, trying to keep the wolf at the door.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a really bad sign for Trump. Obviously, the national polls aren't going to decide, right now who's going to win the election. But if you're an incumbent and you're getting beat in national polls by all the leading Democrats, now, of course, Clinton also won the popular vote, right? So Electoral College, different from the popular vote. But literally any Democrat at this point, in this poll at least, would beat Trump. So... I think there's a lot of hand-wringing from pundits right now because the Democrats are having a debate amongst themselves about what they want as a party going forward. And then one thing that they're forgetting is that it's usually the case. Trump was an exception, but if you go back before Trump, and he's an aberration because he's not mentally well, in my opinion. I think he's he's got narcissistic personality disorder, in my unmedical opinion, so don't take it for anything. But, never have you usually what the candidates do is they run to the left and then they recalibrate for the median voter and independent voters for the general, and none of the candidates have done that yet. So everyone who is freaking out about, oh my gosh, the Democrats are only barely beating Trump in 6 battleground states, they haven't even aired a single commercial in those states and they're almost beating Trump a year out.
Yeah,
so
they're
be
focusing
happy
on like Iowa because that's the big thing they have to do first.
Yeah, but in those states where they're not advertising and people only know them from seeing them on the news, they are still competitive with Trump. That is saying something about how weak he is as a president. And everyone's sort of like, oh my gosh, look how strong Trump is. He's not strong. He's running against name recognition and losing.
Yeah, he's got incumbency on his side and he's losing this far out.
And a good economy, basically.
Which is, it's a good economy turning bad, and that doesn't look like it's going to be a trend that will stop at any point.
Certainly, if the economy is one of the best predictors of presidential outcomes.
Yeah.
So a bad economy with an incumbent, very bad for the incumbent. Yeah, what I mean by good economy is we're not in a recession and we're not shutting jobs. Yeah. Basically. I mean, and sadly, that's kind of how people tend to... It's a good predictor, but it's not like a driving causal force, I don't think. Jacob Rees-Mogg again. Okay. This...
Yeah, when he says he apologises, he's not really apologising there. What he's doing is saying, no, I meant the thing that won't cause a massive public backlash, not the thing I actually believe.
Yeah.
So he's lying, essentially.
I'm sorry I got caught for saying something I actually think.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck him.
So a lot of times I think we miss white supremacist policies in America because we are used to seeing things about like the founders just being patriotic, but this is what white supremacy is. Trump rejects Native American Heritage Month, proclaims November National American History and Founders Month. So it's basically a big middle finger to Native Americans, and instead celebrating the men who basically set up the system that started to take over their lands and cheat them out of deals and put them on reservations.
So, Kristi, Dickie was so right about you. You hate the whites.
White supremacy, definitely. Because it
but
destroys
that's
democracy.
what whiteness is. That's what whiteness is. So clearly you're anti-white.
Well, there is a case that whiteness is deeply linked with white supremacy, so I can't even correct you on that.
Exactly, and that was me doing a joke, but it's sort of true, which doesn't speak well to white people, is what I would suggest.
No, we are, our identity is in reaction to attempt to keep people in a subordinate, marginalized, economically and legally disadvantaged position forever. And sometimes steal their kids, which the government's still doing. Trump is still stealing people's kids today. Whether it was the children of people who were enslaved or Native American children, now it's people who are trying to immigrate to America.
Indeed. And talking of stealing children, it reminds me, Parliament has officially now been, dissolved, right? Mm-hmm. And so the general election is on and all the rest of it. I think officially it dissolves at 11 p.m, but they're done now, so it's over. It's fucking over, people. Let it go. Anyway, the point is, this Parliament has been really unbelievably shit, like a fucking embarrassment to British democracy. But they finally managed to actually do a thing today. They passed the Northern Ireland Historical Abuse Compensation Bill, or whatever the fuck it was called. Historical Institutional Abuse Bill, which was a thing I talked about before in one of the shows last week, where they were umming and ahhing as to whether they had the time to get it through and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
they rushed it through though, because there was no opposition to it. It was completely by across the house. And in Northern Ireland, to get all of the parties to agree that the sky is blue would take fucking years of negotiation. So the fact that they were as one on this topic shows you how uncontroversial it was. And it's to do with the historical abuse, both sexual, physical, emotional, and indeed murder of children in institutions of childcare in Northern Ireland. There was the Hart Report, which went from 1922 to 1996, and it's one of the most difficult reads I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Detailing some of the most horrific abuse you can imagine. I don't need to go into the details. It's awful. And this was a bill that helped the compensation of that, because even though they were church-run institutions, because they had a certain amount of public money went into it, the British state was sort of like legally liable for some of that abuse and stuff. So this was a matter of giving some compensation to these people. And they finally managed to do a thing today. They came together and achieved an actual bill that's going to help some of the most disadvantaged and fucked over people in our society. And I just thought to myself, this is what can be done when you're not cocks.
Yeah.
When you're not fucking pricks to one another, when you actually sit down and talk about a thing, you can help people. You can actually fucking achieve something.
Govern.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was lovely to see, and so not in keeping with the whole of the rest of that Parliament. Mm. It was amazing. Anyway, but the thing that brought it up was one of the stories, absolutely harrowing. Young kid who'd been ripped from his family, put in one of these institutions and abused in the most horrific ways. And then as part of the White Australia policy, which is a very racist thing that the Australian government were doing, where they were essentially, as well as trying to destroy indigenous communities in Australia, they were importing white British kids.
Great. Yeah.
And
white genocide, right?
Yeah, exactly. The one story from the thing, although it was a very common story, was they were essentially, in order to cover up the abuse, they were sending abused kids to the other side of the world and not telling the kids where their families were or the families where their kids were.
That is horrific.
And this one guy, he was just saying, I have a nightmare every night about it. And it's only when the sun rises and I awake that the nightmare begins to end. And it's the same routine every day. And it's just this old guy in Australia, and he died in the, because this happened like in the 1950s or something, and he was in his 70s by the time the report was being put together. And unfortunately, he died before obviously any of this came to fruition. But I just thought to myself, the fucking evil. The evil of that is just breathtaking. How human beings can do that.
But in 20 years, it's going to be kids. It's going to be the kids today who are going to be suing the U.S. government for separating them from their parents and then abandoning them to the foster care system. And they're going to have a case, and they're going to win. And they should.
No, God.
Because even the money that they would get won't compensate them for the trauma that they're living through and going to have to try to get over. And hopefully will get over.
Yeah, absolutely. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But that's where that kind of racist nonsense gets you.
Yes. That's what those policies get you. And this is an expression of that. There's another one later on, but
But voting doesn't change anything, honest.
Yeah, the parties are no difference between them.
Yeah, just burn down. That would mean Trump will definitely win a second term. Is irrelevant, apparently. But you're so left-wing, guys, honest.
You know, if the Republicans had been doing their oversight in the first 2 years, we wouldn't be where we are right now with the impeachment trial. It was the Republicans that let him get away with it, and they're still letting him get away with it because he's a white man. You can't hold a white man who's rich and reactionary accountable. Oh, no. I thought you'd like this. Seb Gorka's love of image dragons got him banned on YouTube.
Yeah, apparently keeps playing the thing, the music, and it got done. Yeah,
he got banned.
He got banned.
Just change your music, mate. There's plenty of good Creative Commons music out there.
No, he wants Imagine Dragons or nothing.
Yeah, apparently
he runs the world.
He got
Imagine
nothing.
Dragons should look up to him.
We veto your nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I just want to do a shout out to the mods in the chat. They're having to do some troll hunting tonight. They're bringing down the ban hammer on people who have persistent accounts. So just a little shout out to all those people who are keeping the chat clean of nonsense. Kevin's big favor of bringing ban hammer.
Yeah, exactly. Very much so. Without discrimination. Just ban everyone.
Even if they don't do anything, you just ban them.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if they don't do anything. I'm suspicious of those who don't do anything.
Yeah, if they don't chat in the chat, ban them.
Out. Exactly. So are they shoe related?
Yes, that seems to be the opinion of the mods.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Tony says, so busy we've barely had time to listen. Someone says there's like persistent trolls that have like 1,000 accounts. And Orion just banned himself just to make you happy, Kevin.
Good. Now unban yourself so you can ban yourself again.
And then just keep doing that for Kevin's amusement.
Exactly like a dog chasing its tail.
Yes. So more Schadenfreude here with the polls for Trump. Because, you know, there's all kinds of polls, and I help you read them. According to a new NBC Wall Street Journal poll.
Yeah, but to be fair, hang on, time out. To be fair, this one's not that fucking complicated. You help us read it. It's 3 fucking columns, Kristi. Come on now.
No, but I collate them all into one feed, because I'm a junkie. I just put it in my veins.
You are a junkie, that is true.
I am a politics junkie.
Kristi can't get enough of the poll.
Nope. Just every day, more and more. 3 or 4 sometimes.
She's jumping on many polls every day. I mean, the people of Poland are really annoyed by it. But, you know.
Yeah, I've been banned, so now I have to import my polls.
Well, to be fair, it is very Catholic, so you probably would get banned. Yes.
Yeah, being a pretty strong critic of the Catholic Church. Anyway, this is terrible for the president. In this new poll, 46% of voters say they will vote against Trump. In a head-to-head, the president also trails other people. But yeah, people who said they were certain to vote for Trump, 34%. You know, like Biden supporters, probably not. They're not that enthusiastic about him. I mean, he's got wider support, but it's shallower. So yeah, you've got some swing people in there who are going to decide the election. Do you like it being wide and shallow, or do you prefer it being narrow and deep? I think when you go for a poll, you want I guess in a polling situation, probably wide but shallow, because wide gets you across the line. Yes. But you don't want to be too wide because you want some grip. I'm just doing the angles. Anyway, so that will be interesting. But basically, he's got a... Well, I found out that actually, yeah, completely irrelevant to this, but you mentioned angles, so it's absolutely pointless transition. I realised last night that you can't have what's called angled brackets in the titles of live streams. I did hear that part of the live stream. Yeah, which is... what happens to it? It won't let you actually publish the thing. Can you close brackets? It just comes up as error. Oh, yeah. No special symbols. So you can't use... No, you can use some special symbols. You can use hashtags and stuff like that. But for some reason, the angled bracket is verboten. Okay. So there you go. Don't put brackets in your titles if you want to see them. There you go. And you talk to me about my boring tech advice.
Well, no, it's not even tech advice. It's just a bit of random knowledge that
Oh,
I've
okay.
picked up.
You're passing it on.
And it's in my head, and I need to get it out of my head, otherwise it's going to make my fucking head explode.
Well, we wouldn't want that.
So that's, I think.
Francois, maybe, but not
No,
you.
we wouldn't want my exactly. We wouldn't want my head to go full fucking turbo gammon, Francois.
No. But getting back to the poll,
the thing that's funny about him is it's such an ungammon surname, and yet he's the most gammon human ever.
He's so French. His
exactly.
name. Or Belgian.
He's suspiciously foreign sounding name.
For an anti-European.
Exactly.
But what this shows is that you really only need a swing of like 4% plus one more person. Well, that's of course national polls. But he's really close to already being at 50% of the people not voting for him, is my point here.
Well, if you're looking for a swing, you definitely go to get Ted Cruz.
Yes, because we know he likes to give interviews outside of swinger bars, which means he's totally a swinger.
Indeed. He's totally a swinger.
Logic. But of course, national polls,
yeah.
it's a state-by-state race. And so the national polls are sort of like a mood of the country, but you have to go state by state because obviously Kentucky will be different from Arizona, which will be different from New York. So, yeah, I've got it a couple times there. Oh, this was the other white supremacist policy. Trump administration plans to restrict asylum seekers' ability to work. And then they can't apply for public assistance either. So he's starving them out.
So they're going to do crime. It's the difference there. That's what they'll do.
Then they'll catch them and deport them for being criminals, which will just confirm what Trump thinks about them anyway, even though they've basically been starved into.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Because he's a white supremacist. And these are what white supremacist policies look like. And if we just say, racism, like, I think it's important to point out how we are governed by a white supremacist power system right now. And it's not just the White House, obviously. Hey, I put this in here because it's...
Whoa, who's that cunt in the chat? Kev is very gammon, to be fair. Fuck you.
No, he's not. He's way too bearded.
Fighting words, motherfucker.
You're way too bearded sometimes.
Yeah.
And bald other times.
And someone else says that the new Speaker of the House is from Chorley, which is true. Chorley FM, coming in your ears. That's a little Peter Kay riff for you. There we go.
Never got into Peter Kay.
Well, he's married, so I'm glad you didn't. That would be news.
This is super geeky, but I saw it and I thought you would really like it, so I'm going to read it out to you. This is from a colleague, actually. I know him from the elections.
Hang on. Heinz Brandenburg!
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's a little campy nice. German, but very, yes. He actually worked on the British election study, I'm pretty sure. But this data, he writes, also seem to confirm the problem cons have and Labour don't. Labour is strong where Lib Dems are weak, and vice versa, while con vote share has a small positive correlation with that of both Lib Dems and Brexit Party. So he's just doing some nerdy stuff to say basically that, Labour are better off than the Conservatives are where Lib Dems are competing. So early days, but you were saying about swinging votes and everything else, so I just thought I'd. Are you asleep?
Well, no, not at all. I think that's very interesting because it does actually back up the kind of point I've been trying to make to an extent, but it's too far out for. It's too far out to really know exactly how it's going to pan out, but I don't think that even though the Tories are significantly ahead because they're going to get wiped out in Scotland virtually, and because they're going to lose large parts of the sort of Remain voting southeast, there are lots of seats in the north that those voters, even though they may not actually want to vote for the Labour Party, will never vote for the Tory Party. I genuinely don't see how they're going to be able to, with their current campaign strategy, win an overall majority, even with the 10-point, 12-point, 15-point lead they have in the polls often. Although that's narrowed in recent days, so that's good. But, I just don't see how they're going to be able to because they're not playing to their usual strengths, which is really strange to me, but there we go.
Yeah. By the way, if you really want to get super, super geeky into the data and how they do predictions on the sort of more local level, you can check this thread out by Chris Hanratty. That sounds like his hand is ready.
But that's not nearly German enough. His
Is it
name's
not?
not even Heinz. I mean, what's the point?
Now, this was circulated and just
His
because...
name's not Heinz or Mats or Bastian Schweinsteiger.
No, not that either. No, definitely not that. Would you guys remember this from 2017? This bit from this comedian guy. I don't want to play it with the sound on because I don't know if it would get copyright strike or whatever. But he's talking about whether or not it's okay to punch a Nazi or talk about Richard Spencer. Do you remember it?
I do.
But yeah, he basically talks about how Richard Spencer was describing a meme and then became a meme
Yeah.
when a hero appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's memeception. It's a meme within a meme.
And then later on, he has this great line too when he's saying, "Oh, it's political violence, and you should debate them, and you should defeat them in the marketplace of ideas." And he's like, "Where is that?" Which is such a great point. I wish that he had been around when Thunderfoot was arguing for we should do things in the marketplace of ideas. He's like, I want to defeat Nazis on this planet first, and then we can go to imaginary places like Mordor and Narnia.
That's very good.
Yes.
But Mordor exists, so
Yeah, but we didn't have 2 minutes to go through it, and I don't know if he'd copyright strike. I mean, it wouldn't matter anyway. We make very little money off this. We do it for the LOLs. But yeah, I just thought that it was worth bringing up again because Richard Spencer.
Yes.
Oh, this is a story that involves both of our countries.
Yay!
All right. Quote, one British official with knowledge of Barr's wish list presented to London commented, "It's like nothing we have come across before. They are basically asking, in quite robust terms, to help in doing a hatchet job on their own intelligence services." William Barr.
Which should be a surprise to nobody, because they're literally doing that. They've been doing that since the day since before they even got into power.
Yes, but now he's actually taking it internationally and embarrassing America around the world with our allies.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is not the first time that this has happened. We saw from the leaks of Sakim Darroch, the now former ambassador to the US.
Yeah,
no
the guy
one
who
respects this motherfucker. No one respects him at all. Mm-hmm. And neither should they. Mm-hmm. He's a clown. Did you see America's now formally begun the procedure to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord?
I was just going to say, do you know what the implications of that are?
No, do tell me, Kristi.
All right, so he's withdrawing. He withdrew yesterday, right? And that means that
If only his father had withdrawn 70-odd years ago.
We would all be so much better off. It will mean that the day after the election will be the day it goes into effect, which means whoever wins the presidency will be able to decide whether or not we go out. Now, I'm not quite sure how that works because they don't actually transfer power, but I think that other president could say, I don't want to leave the Paris Accords, and maybe put a hold on it or something. So it literally, if you want to see the end if you want to stop it. Couldn't they just
rejoin it? Couldn't they just rejoin?
But maybe there would, but I don't know what kind of regulations would lapse or other things might not, be in a force or in effect while there's a gap.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, maybe they'll give an extension, a flextension to the president-elect.
A Paris Climate Accord, a Paraccord flextension.
Well, you guys have led the way in putting things off for ages, so.
True. Like getting that rash checked out at the back of my legs.
Okay. Groper. Who was talking about... Oh, I think Dusty was talking about the gropers. What? Hello?
What? Hello?
I got distracted by the next story here on the screen.
Oh, I did a funny joke about having a medical problem. Never mind.
Oh, sorry. I'm sure people in the chat enjoyed it.
They probably didn't.
I am trying to run a show here and keep it moving.
Are you?
Are you, though?
Kind of seems like you're just vamping on stories, to be honest.
What is vamping, technically? Is it just...
what you're doing right now.
That's what it says in the dictionary when you look up the word vamp.
What Kristi's doing right now, yeah.
Does it mean riffing? Is it basically another way of saying
basically,
riffing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's just vamps to me, always was associated with a woman who was dressed in a provocative way. But that's very
Oh, like a
old-fashioned.
vampire.
Because I grew up watching boomer shows. All right, so yeah, this I don't know too much about old Nick Fuentes here, so I was hoping you could help me out because you have a deeper knowledge of the manosphere.
I do indeed. Nicholas Fuentes, the most Hispanically named white nationalist ever. Yes, he's an amazing prick.
Yep.
He was previously friends and indeed associates, business partners, indeed, with what's his fucking name? I've totally forgotten his bastard name. The one that got banned from YouTube. I did a fucking Descent of Manosphere on him, and my brain has gone.
That qualifies
melted.
so many people. Kevin actually got banned from YouTube, and you did it. Steven Crowder? No.
Yeah.
He didn't get
no,
banned.
someone will tell me. The fucking little prick with the haircut. What's his name?
What does he do? What is he like? Is he on a show?
He's a fascist. He's a fascist.
Okay.
Is what he is.
Baked Alaska. These are helpful chat.
No, he's not in the Descent of Manosphere, but he's in that same sphere. Somewhat. Oh, come on, chat, help me.
James Alsop.
James Alsop. Fucking hell.
Thank you, Chris.
There we go. Anyway, business partners with James Alsop.
It's a fascist on YouTube with a haircut.
Yeah, that's basically what he was. That's exactly what he was. Anyway, they formed a thing called America First Media, and they were putting stuff out. And actually, Nick Fuentes still, I believe, owns America First Media. Look, that's his, I don't know, trademark or whatever. The thing he broadcasts under. Anyway, and he does his own show now because they fell out in the most fantastically bitchy way ever. It was hilarious, with claim and counterclaim of you suck, no you suck, you're a piece of shit, no you're a piece of shit. It was so
Great.
funny. It was like something from fucking Dynasty or something. Anyway, nice reference for the kids there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Alexa, is that her name?
Alexa Carrington.
Yeah, except mine went off now. I'm not talking to you. All right, continue, Kevin.
I did as well. Alexa, order a lime green strap-on dildo.
Happily, I don't have my external speakers on. Oh, she's telling me a story. Alexa, cancel my story. Shut the fuck up. All right, anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, the Library of Alexandria. That comes from lime green dildos? Is that what you thought I said?
I think so.
Awesome. I mean, you don't want the Library of Alexandria up your ass.
No.
Nope. Anyway,
especially since it
Nick
doesn't
Fuentes,
exist anymore.
a fascist piece of garbage, well, it doesn't exist anymore. That's very true, and sadly, of course. Anyway, Nick Fuentes, fascist piece of garbage, who has sort of done weird sort of flirting with trying to become slightly more mainstream. Like he's hung around with the aforementioned small-head face Charlie Kirk
Yeah.
and various other people, whilst still being a fascist who believes in scientific racialism and all of that sort of garbage. Or they call it human biodiversity, which is an actual thing, but they're not using it in the way that scientists would use that phrase.
Of course they wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, they mean scientific racialism, whereas actual scientists mean that there are slight differences based on like geographical location and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yes, and this Groiper is refers to it was like a bastardization of the Pepe, where it was like an overtly fascist version of it, but they always said like, oh, it's not Pepe, it's a completely different thing. It's a green frog character that does like fascist stuff. It's the Pepe character that's been like it's like the Pepe character as a grotesque.
Yeah, I think it's the one June tweeted
deal.
at me because she's so left.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. Because she's so
left. Oh yeah, absolutely. She is.
She's so centrist, and she's almost
so
she's almost one of us guys.
She's better than us. I think that's what we've come to terms with. She's better than.
She's still using Pepe in 2019.
More left. She's more left than.
So left.
Well, she's more left than Karl Marx.
Hashtag
definitely.
as left as shoe.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's Nicholas Fuentes. He's a piece of shit. Anyway, so what's Mr. Fuentes been up to other than what been up to.
Yeah.
Which is causing problems with Charlie Kirk. Yeah.
The division has grown over the last several days as Nick Fuentes, who attended UTR, has pushed his Groper army to troll Turning Point USA events. And so apparently they crashed it. They crashed a Turning Point's USA event.
They did indeed. Well, the basic gist of the difference between the two of them is Nick Fuentes is much more about hating on the Jews.
Oh, right.
Whereas,
okay. That's his
Charlie
personal.
Kirk, because he wants to support Israel because they kill, brown Palestinians. They're basically saying, no, don't hate the Jews, but it's fine to hate Muslims and black people. So that's the difference.
They're arguing over who to hate more first.
Yeah, basically they're saying Charlie Kirk's saying don't hate the Jews, just hate the Muslims and the blacks. Whereas Nick Fuentes and his crowd are going, well, we can hate them too, but also hate the Jews.
Because they're the superior race.
That is literally the actual exactly. That's the actual difference there. And like I say, his surname's Fuentes, so let's not pretend he's like whitey McWhiteface.
Well, there are a lot of
he is
Hispanic white, Spanish people in the United States. So European of Spanish descent.
But that's one. Yeah, but one drop, motherfuckers. They make the rules. This game apparently. So he's not white.
Yeah, apparently. Well,
under the rules of their own game, he's not white. No, I'm happy to accept him as white because I don't really give a fuck. But the point is, they clearly do, and therefore he isn't in their eyes.
So shall I read from the article?
Please do.
All right. So in October, the staff at Politicon, the annual nonpartisan political conference this year held in Nashville, Tennessee, were forced to deal with an unwanted presence.
As I pointed out earlier, should be a parking lot.
Right. No, I thought it was Kentucky. White nationalists and anti-Semite.
No, definitely Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Well, Kentucky as well, but Tennessee. Okay. It starts with Tennessee. Fuck you, Tennessee.
The second point, who hosts the show America First on YouTube, had been spotted trying to access an event by headliner Charlie Kirk, the founder and head of Turning Point USA.
And weirdly large head of Turning Point USA.
Weird head.
Also, it's Turning Point USA. They're clearly named after the USA people. So for you to pretend it's Turning Point USA is racially insensitive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm doing a bit. Oh. You thought I was being serious there for a second, didn't you?
Tapusa? Yeah, is that it?
Fucking hell. I don't even know where to go with that one. Go on.
Fuentes and fellow white nationalist Vincent James Fox of the Red Elephants had traveled to Nashville, intent on crashing the conference. Fox was filmed in April 2017 asking a member of the White Power Rise Above movement to recite the 14 words, a neo-Nazi slogan. In a deleted post on his website from July of 2017, Fox promoted the racist Unite the Right rally. Yeah, maybe delete that. Fuentes reported on Twitter that he tried to enter Charlie Kirk's event at Politicon and was surrounded by probably a dozen police officers who told me I wasn't allowed to enter the event, no justification given.
What about the Frozen speeches?
Fuentes and the other white nationalists have been at war with mainstream conservatives, what they call cuck-servatives, or Conservatism Inc., because they promote policies that are too friendly to Israel and do not go far enough to restrict immigration.
Another phrase they use is bugmen.
Yeah. Bugmen?
Yeah.
What? What is
bugmen? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Possibly a reference to them being like, I don't know, insects or something. I don't know. But they call them bugmen.
Weird.
Yeah.
At Politicon, Fuentes and Fox took photos at the TPUSA booth while it was temporarily unmanned. The booth was advertising their Culture War campus tour. So he's just trolling them. In October, the Culture War event held at Ohio State. At the event, several of Fuentes' fans, which he dubbed his Groper Army, a reference to an alt-right meme. What's the Groper Army?
No, it's Groiper.
Oh,
like
Groiper.
I said, Groiper is the kind of bastardized version of Pepe.
Oh,
and
right,
they're
it's a
essentially
fake version.
They're like a more overtly kind of white nationalist, far-righty version. Like, they don't even care about the thin veneer of, oh, no, this is just a funny frog meme defense.
Got it. I read ahead and it gets better. Okay, they crashed Charlie Kirk's Q&A session. White nationalist trolls reportedly grilled Charlie Kirk about the USS Liberty, an American spy ship that was mistakenly bombed by Israeli forces in 1967, during the Six-Day War.
So, yeah, up to date. They're definitely.
So,
this is current affairs, cutting edge.
Current year, these guys.
From 1967.
Oh.
So anyway, what I want to know is about the repeal of the Corn Laws. How dare you?
Yes. What are you going to do about that? And also a reference to a conspiracy theory which posits Mossad had a hand in 9/11. Another lambasted Kirk for tolerating gays and lesbians while brandishing a copy of Culture War magazine, a publication by Catholic fascist and anti-Semite E. Michael Jones. Wow, this really was
Jesus.
alt-reich on alt-reich hate.
Yeah. Like I said, literally, when I said that their differences were one of them wanted to hate all of the people and one of them wanted to hate all the people minus the Jews. That's it.
Oh
that is literally the difference.
Kevin, no. You're going to love this. Don't read ahead. American Identity Movement leader Patrick Casey asked whether or not they would be willing to debate him.
Of course he did.
Debate me, bro.
Debate me, bro, on the Jews.
One person in a red MAGA hat asked about white people becoming a racial minority. No, we're just not the majority. It's a plurality now.
Oh, Dickie, I'm with you, mate. She is a very anti-white racialist, definitely.
Yeah. So
How's unemployment working for you, by the way, Dick? How's that working out for you? Is that good? Okay, cool.
Yeah, what are you going to write on your CV from, 2019?
Sacked by a dead party. Oof.
Then there's more nonsense about, white nationalist policies I'm not going to read out. During a Halloween live stream for the white supremacist media outlet Red Ice, Fox and other guests bragged about their success and promised future disruptions of Turning Point USA events. Yeah, because having purity about who you hate is a really important. Hey, let them fight, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'll gotcha.
Let them fight.
Absolutely.
Oh, so some guys speculated they might cancel the rest of their Culture War tour, which would be an admission of total defeat. Ethan Ralph, a former Gamergator troll, interjected to ask, if they can't even go around and stage these college events, then what purpose do they even have to exist? There you go. All right.
Well, what is American conservatism but a small-faced idiot in a diaper, really?
I mean, this is just, send me more articles like this if you see them, guys. I want to read more about...
Yeah, because it had some of the most amazing sentences, just standalone sentences of pure genius in that article.
Yes.
But anyway,
me, bro.
Leave your comments in the comments section. Should we hate the Jews as well, or just all the other people?
Yeah, these dumb bigots.
Yeah, exactly. It's just horrific. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I say, I love the fact that it's Mr. Fuentes.
Yes.
That's been like, we need to be more racially pure. Really, motherfucker? You want to go to that place? Because I assure you, I will be allowed into the ethno-state, and you won't.
Well, not if you're a communist.
But I'm not a communist. I'm a good white man. Honest.
The purity circle gets ever narrower.
Exactly.
All right. Also, by the way, in case you were just been flooded by all the other news, a bunch of documentation.
Whoa. Yeah, are you following MSNBC?
A little bit.
That surprises me, Krista.
Yeah, well, it's how I keep on top of this
stuff. Didn't think that was quite your bag.
A Freedom of Information Act request filed by BuzzFeed was granted by a court, and an entire just document dump.
But BuzzFeed, the SJW, BuzzFeed's SJWs. Yeah.
In a very important Freedom of Information Act. And in this document dump, some of it was still redacted, and it might have to do with the trial of Stone that's going on, or who knows. But from what they didn't redact, there was a lot of information about various there's actually a lot they did redact. I think there's 3 interviews with Gates, and he probably did way more than that, and only one with Manafort and some other people. So it was pretty blacked out. So I just want to go on the record of correcting myself there. But here's some of the things that they're finding out was people like Paul Manafort was trying to push the idea that Ukraine was behind the DNC hack immediately after it happened back in 2016, because he was in with the Russian Ukrainians, because that's who was paying him before he came to work for Trump. Right? Yeah. So that was part of the bump, but that's not part of this story. This is about Gates. And he was the assistant to somebody, I can't remember who, Flynn, Mike Flynn, Dave Flynn. And this release just reports that in the Mueller memo, Gates recalled on a time on the campaign aircraft when candidate Trump said, "Get the emails." Flynn said he could use his intelligence sources to obtain the emails. Flynn was adamant the Russians did not carry out the hack. So Michael Flynn was also on this. It wasn't the Russians, even though it was the Russians.
Yeah. And it was obviously the Russians. I mean, they're so desperate to make sure to let Vladimir Putin off the hook.
Yeah.
And by the way, that brings us actually into a British story that the current British Prime Minister is holding up a report into Russian interference in British elections, including the 2016 EU referendum, until after the general election, but not because it's really embarrassing for the government and shows that they're essentially benefiting from illegal interference in the elections, but just for national security reasons, obviously, even though literally the national security agencies have all cleared this and redacted the bits they wanted to redact, and it was expected, as it was with every other fucking report of this kind, that it would just be waved through by the Prime Minister. But for some reason, this one particular one, not going to wave that through until after the election. How very convenient.
Yep.
It's almost as if someone like, I don't know, Dominic Cummings, who was head of the Vote Leave campaign that obviously colluded with Russia during that whole process and literally spent several years in his younger days in the Soviet Union and has connections with Russia, might not come out well in that report, maybe. Just a thought.
Yeah. I mean, Putin is a danger to democracies.
Yes.
And he's helping people within the countries to undermine our democracies.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't a foreign invasion, it's a foreign collaboration. So, yeah.
Ultimately, if by the way, if ever anyone wants to say it's a conspiracy theory, they could easily quash that conspiracy theory by releasing the report and showing us all that it's a total conspiracy theory. Okay. I'd be more than happy for that to happen.
Release the report. Yeah.
There's literally no good reason why it wouldn't be released.
Someone did an analysis of what Trump tweets. The New York Times. I see the source there at the bottom. You want to hear it?
Yeah, but it's the failing New York Times, so who cares? It's clearly fake news.
Yeah.
Next.
All they did was collect his tweets and put them into different categories. So here we go. Almost 900 attacking someone or something. Almost the same number praising someone or something. 400.
Hang on. I think you're missing something, because there's a comma. So I think that's X thousand. Click on the actual article.
Oh, okay.
I can see commas before the numbers.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you.
It's okay, Kristi. I just want to be correct, because that's literally the point of reading a thing.
There we go. All right.
Become more. Anyway.
Yes, to be accurate. Well, we don't do errata on this show.
To actually learn things and stuff.
So when I screw up the music, I learn not to screw up the music the next time we go on air.
Well, you think you'd already know that. Every
day's a school day.
I mean, it's my channel. I did a stream with that Kristi the other day on my channel. Fucking perfect.
Because you weren't having...
There's a common denominator.
Fine.
Krista.
Yeah, you want to go solo all the time, or you like having someone else in the room?
Extremely fucking common, if you explain.
Look, if you are happy you make yourself happy solo, and you don't want someone else in the room, that's fine.
Masturbation.
All right, so yes, you're right. It's 5,000, more than almost 6,000 attacking someone, about 5,000 praising someone. So he spent just almost 2,500 just for Democrats, over 2,000 attacking investigations.
But he doesn't care. It's not bothered by the investigations in the slightest. Why would he be bothered? That's fine. It's fine. I'm not even thinking about it.
Now, in over 2,000, he praised himself.
course he did. Of course he fucking did.
In almost 2,000, he promoted conspiracies. In about 1,300, he attacked news organizations.
Again, of course he did.
Yeah. Over 800 attacked minority groups. Over 700 praised or promoted Fox News or conservative medias. And in 500 attacked immigrants particularly. Now, what's, one thing I would look at this is...
It's interesting that for Fox News, they're supposed to hold politicians to account. If the president is promoting you constantly, you're not good at your job.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Sean Hannity, one part of the transcripts that they released, Mike Pompeo was reported by, I think, his deputy, or maybe it was Maria Yanovich heard it. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Mike Pompeo said he had to call Sean Hannity to find out exactly why people were upset with Yovanovitch and wanted her out.
What?
He had to call Sean Hannity to get the foreign policy of the United States. Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Do you want me to look that
Hannity.
up? Yeah. Do you want me to look that up to get the particulars, or you believe me?
No. No, I'm going to believe you.
Yeah.
Of course he's formulating national fucking policy now.
Yeah. Amazing. So
How
here's,
embarrassing.
I have some methodological critiques of this as a qualitative researcher. So I
don't care.
What
I'm
they've done,
bored. I'm bored already.
Done is they've taken a tweet and they put it into one category from the looks of it. Because if they had done it by these categories across all tweets, he might attack the Democrats and immigrants in the same tweet. So I think I would rather look at line by line and look at it sort of on a percentage-based distribution of categories rather than making it be 0 or 1, sort of this or that.
Okay. I have nothing of note to add to that because
I'm just geeking out.
I'll be honest. I'm mainly focusing on the fact that Chelsea went from 4-1 down to 5-4 up in like 10 minutes. So
right. So
that's the thing.
Well, that makes me feel better when I get distracted by the show. That you get distracted by the not show. By the way, how is the match going?
Yeah.
I know some people are watching it. You want to give us a little update?
Several of the matches are happening, and some of them are very good, and some of them are a bit shit. Now there's lots of games on, so I mean, you'll have to ask me about a specific one to get a specific response.
Okay.
But as you don't know who's playing in any of them.
I know Liverpool is playing at least in one because people are having a moan.
2-1 up, and that game looks okay.
For Liverpool.
But the Chelsea game is fucking mental. Like I say, they've just gone 5-4 up. Oh no, it's been disallowed. It's 4 apiece again. Oh, good God. It never ends.
Well, this show can come to an end because we're back to the pile of cats.
Hang on, there was a poll below that you didn't show.
Yeah, but those were old ones, I think, from last time. These are from...
Oh, okay.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no. I stand corrected. These are from the 3rd. These are ones you'll like. It's heightening at the top a little bit. No. We looked at these last time. No, we had the disagreement about the fact they're 12 apart. But Labour were up. Yeah. So, we're back to kitties.
I love cats.
There's a cat
cafe. I don't even know how many cats there are there. There are an indeterminate number of cats.
There's a cat cafe in Cologne that I see on my way when I walk around sometimes. And outside it says, coffee and pussies. Yeah.
Does that mean the same thing in German?
I'm sure they got the joke, and that's exactly why they wrote it in English. It's an English spelling, so yeah. There's a different word. I think it's mushy.
Oh, of course it is. Mushy.
That might not be right, but I don't know a lot of German slang.
The pussy flappen.
No, I'm sure it's not that.
I'm sure it is that.
All the cats are alive too, Fiddy. Don't be pulling a Kevin on us here. You remember when we had the cat on? Like, oh, maybe it's dead. I was like, it's not dead.
Maybe it's dead.
Maybe it's not
Maybe
dead.
all of those cats are dead.
No,
Maybe what we're
just
seeing here is a really macabre scene. That one cat murdered all those other cats. And it's just lording over its pile of corpses. Look upon me, ye mighty in despair, for I am the slaughterer of the pussy. Yes! Turned it around.
That's what he said. Okay, so there we go. And on that bombshell, is there anything else that we've missed in the news or anywhere else?
Probably. I mean, there's probably some really important news from inflation figures from Bangladesh or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We could go back to Twitter and just see, but why is Scotland? Sunderland. I thought it was Scotland. I'm reading too fast. So why is Scotland trending? Oh, happily it's not.
American trends on, which is weird because you're not even from there anymore. So.
Oh, Philip
Weird.
Hammond is standing down.
Oh, okay. Well, that's understandable. Seems though he's not even a conservative anymore, technically. There we go.
Okay, we're running out of stuff.
Nigerian film Lionheart disqualified from the Oscars, reports The Wrap. I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I guess we'd have to click to find
Scotland said the N-word. Yeah, there's been videos of Scotland doing blackface. Have emerged.
Dankula's not Scotland.
He isn't Scotland.
Oh.
Although he is a loudmouth idiot. So I mean, there are some Scottish people like that.
A Republican candidate and party official have been charged with election fraud in Iowa. No, I'm sorry, Ohio. God, I'm an idiot. All these vowels. Well, look at
Ohio's
that.
Basically Canada too.
Distributing phony sample ballots.
Is Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Tennessee needs to be made into a parking lot.
But what we need.
So.
But what we really need is voter ID laws, guys.
Now, what we really need is a big melting pot, big enough to take the world and all it's got.
Oh, I was thinking of butter. A big pot, and we'd put butter in it and melt it down.
You're so American.
You're
so American.
Put it on popcorn, or maybe make like caramel with it. I don't know. How do you make caramel? Is it brown sugar and butter? Do people in the chat know that?
Brown sugar. It tastes so good now.
A little bit of Rolling Stones to close out the show.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're gonna close it down. Anything coming up on your channel besides maybe another happy hour? Because news all the time.
No.
Okay, me neither.
Basically not. I've got nothing planned.
Honestly,
obviously, why would you have something coming out on my channel? That would be ridiculous. What have you got coming up on your channel?
Well, pretty much, my channel of late has just been trying to keep up with this kind of stuff, and my Sunday show. It's barely that's all I can do, but people seem to like it. They keep coming back, so we'll keep doing it. But honestly, even if you guys weren't here, we'd still do this.
Yeah,
we don't actually need you. Yeah. We just share a joke.
I mean, yeah, exactly. We don't need you. You're irrelevant to us. Go away. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah, you can stick around.
We'd just be talking and shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I mean the only difference would be is that we wouldn't need the visuals so much.
No, or we wouldn't have Cog's music playing.
Well, on my channel, they never will because that would involve me being able to do that, and I can't.
But
so
then only you and I. Oh, next time, yes, we have to stream on your channel because I want to see the new artwork in your screen thingy.
Oh, I need to do that first, don't I?
You have to put them in.
Add those in.
Yes, add them in.
That's what she said.
All right, well then I'm going to say goodbye. So thank you guys in the chat. Thank you for dealing with the trolls. Appreciate it. I hope you guys had a fun time and a couple laughs. Go check out Kevin's channel and subscribe to him. Follow us both on Twitter. I don't know. I'm just sounding like a regular YouTuber now. I'm going to stop. Yeah, so goodbye.
Smash the shit out of that
like button. Yeah, and subscribe and comment and share my video. Like, honestly, we don't do that stuff.
Don't forget to erase your search history when your parents are going to be using your computer.
We're very selective about who we let watch our show. So
yes,
we don't want to go mainstream. We're cult, man.
We are not condescending.
Well, we are. We're that.
We are that as well. But more importantly, we're discerning.
We're discerning condescension. The happy
exactly.
hour. Oh, that could be a tagline. Discerning condescension of the happy hour. Right, so goodbye from me and goodbye from Kevin if I can figure out how to end the stream correctly this time.
We would explain what condescension and discerning means, but you wouldn't get it. So just chill out, yeah. We don't want to stress your little tiny brains out, so just chill.
There's a nice little Stuart Lee sort of inspired poll there. Nice. Yeah, about the stream, it had 3 dislikes before we even started. Some people have way too much time.
Well, my stream last night had a dozen before I started.
Nice.
So.
Oh yeah, and I just want to say, guys, that Bernie video is totally monetized. So thanks for all the views. That's my Christmas money right there. Thanks, Shu. And all that engagement in the
Kristi
comments.
Winter's YouTube corporate shill confirmed.
Yeah. And all that engagement with the like and dislike button in the comments. That's awesome. Thanks, you guys. We YouTubers really hate it when you engage. That's terrible for our algorithm and our monetization. Ooh, stop it, please. All right. And with that snark, go say goodbye, Kev.
Goodbye, Kev.
Yep, that was the one. Okay, now I'm going to hit end. Woohoo, we did it. Goodbye.